Virgo, you are so strong. And what's funny is, as Virgos, we know we're strong, but astrologically, I don't think we talk enough about how strong Virgos are. The issue, though, is that sometimes Virgo does not know how to channel that strength, like how to use that strength for good, when to use that strength, like where to direct that energy, basically. So sometimes that energy gets like misapplied and we spend it on the wrong things, basically. That's fine. But Spirit's got a big message today for Virgo about that strength and where it's needed right now. Okay, Virgo, so listen up. And this is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So all right, everybody. Virgo, right now, this is where you're going to need your strength, so bear with me because there's going to be a little bit of tough love, and then there's going to be the light at the end of the tunnel, as always, but there is some tough love today, okay? Right now, Virgo, you are your own worst enemy at this point in time. So, and again, we'll get out of it, but let's talk through it first. So you may be feeling that there are too many choices right now, and you're like, it's not like too many choices, like I've got 7 job offers, what do I do? Sometimes the 7 choices are like, hey, I actually don't know how to get out of a situation I'm in. I can see a lot of options on the things I can do, but I don't know which is the right thing to do. Or it could be you've got a lot of great offers coming at you. But for most of us, this is like, hey, I know that there's a lot I can do. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? And Virgo, it's so interesting because you're so analytical, but in this case, it really is a little bit of analysis paralysis, okay? So just know that you being stuck, this is where the tough love kind of gets tougher. It's kind of you staying stuck. Does that make sense? Like you're letting yourself stay stuck. You're not moving forward because you're too wrapped up in this too many choices thing. And sometimes you just got to choose. You just got to choose. You got to try something. And if it doesn't work, try something else. Like we want to have like the perfect plan because we're Virgos, right? But there isn't always a perfect plan. Sometimes it's just a plan and you have to adjust it as you go. But staying stuck isn't getting you anywhere. So you've got to get out of the analysis paralysis. You've got to stop waiting for a perfect plan and you got to pick a thing, invest a little bit of time and energy into that thing. And if it doesn't bear fruit, move on to something else. Okay. But you've got to get yourself unstuck. But it's really important to realize that it is a self-imposed restriction because if you're the one holding you back, you're the one who can move you forward. Does that make sense? You're the one who can move you forward. You're not stuck because of anybody but you. That means you have the power to get yourself out of this. It's like the quote from The Wizard of Oz. You had the power all along, right? You just ran around Oz for no reason. That's what we Virgos are doing right now. And trust me, this hits home. This hits home for me right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is 100% me to a T. Now, you also need to ask somebody for help. Sorry, my nose is itching in confirmation. So you do need to ask somebody for help. And I don't know who this is. I don't know if this is advice. I don't know if this is material help, but there's somebody out there who can help you and you need to ask them for help. Okay. You're trying to make all these decisions on your own. And sometimes you might just need a kick in the butt from somebody else who's like, it's so obvious. You should do this thing first. Or they may just say, do something. I don't even care. But somebody out there is going to help you on your way. So even though you're stuck because of you, it's like you can reach an arm out and ask somebody to pull you still. You know what I mean? But that's one of the best things you can do is to make a decision and move forward and ask somebody for help. I'm just saying it again because Spirit really wants me to tell you. And here is that strength card that we talked about. So this is the time in the reading where I remind you this strength card came out for you, Virgo. We know how strong we are. We know, even though astrologically people don't talk about it enough, we are so effing strong. And now it's time to use that strength to bust out of these self-imposed restrictions and limitations and just move forward. And also trust in your strength. Trust that even if that choice isn't the perfect one, it's still gonna be okay because you're really strong. Does that make sense? Like you need to trust this strength a little bit. You need to be like, hey, I'm trusting the universe to catch me and I'm trusting my own strength to see me through. Even if the choices and options aren't perfect, I'm trusting that it's going to work out anyway. You need to have a little bit of trust in your own strength right now. Very important and coming through very, very strongly. All right, we also got the 8 of Cups. And yeah, the journey might be a little bit hard. But you're ready. You got your ducks in a row. You're going to be fine. So you might be holding back because you know the work is hard. I've done that too. I have to admit it. But yeah, you're strong. You can do the work. Don't worry about it. You have everything you need. So the journey might be difficult. What this card in this deck actually says, though, is that it looks like it's super hard. But once you do it, it actually goes pretty quickly. It goes quickly for you because, again, you do have everything you need. So don't hold back because it's hard or you think it might take a while. Hey, the time's going to pass anyway, and you have what you need. Once you start doing it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, this was so much easier than I thought it was. I should have done this all along. This card also, by the way, has a second reminder in this deck, which is that relationships aren't supposed to be that complicated. So if you're struggling with a relationship at work, business partnership, or at home, Spirit actually wanted me to tell you whatever that is, maybe do a reset because it's not supposed to be that complicated. This relationship isn't supposed to be that difficult, whatever it is. So whatever relationship that is, sit down and think through it because that is a clear message from Spirit. And the other message, and this went along with that journey card, the Eight of Cups, when we see the Ace of Pentacles in this deck, look at how much abundance there is. These crystals absolutely represent all the material resources that you have and all the material resources that you'll be getting. So this card actually reminds you that the time of harvest may seem difficult, but you're harvesting the fruits of your labors, and that harvest is the resources that you need to get you through. So it's almost like, hey, all the stuff that you've learned along the way, all the stuff that you've accumulated all the way, all of that is to set you up for this thing that you're about to do, that you're afraid of doing and holding back from doing. It's just another reminder that you have everything you need. Mentally, spiritually, as well as physically. You have the resources, and Spirit wants you to get that through your head, Virgo, because we can be a little bit stubborn. Don't worry about what you don't have. Look at what you do have. And like the swan, swim forward anyway, okay? That's very clear from Spirit. All right, so that was the tough love part. Now let's get into the rest of the reading, which is a little foofier, but also, frankly, a little bit more reassuring. We got the nourishment card, so make sure that you are paying attention to how you're nourishing yourself. And I think this is all dimensions too. This is physical nourishment, this is spiritual nourishment, intellectual nourishment. And this even extends to those friendships and relationships we talked about. But how are all of these areas nourishing and supporting you? And is there something that I just mentioned where you're like, that actually drains me more than it nourishes me? This may be a time to reevaluate that. If you have friendships, if you have food, if you have physical things that drain you and make you not feel good, this is a time to examine that and make a different choice. Same thing about the media you're consuming. Same thing about like what you're studying. Is it lifting you up? Or is it pulling you down? Make sure that everything that you're doing is nourishing you on your journey. Spirit says this is a very strong reminder of how to take your power back when it comes to fortifying yourself for this journey that you're on. And then Spirit also is reinforcing the message about learning. Learning keeps coming through. And Virgo, I know how smart you are, right? And you may be actively studying something or you may not be, but Spirit is reminding you to pay attention to what you're learning. Pay attention to what you're taking in. And ask yourself honestly, are you continuing to learn or are you kind of coasting on what you've learned already? Because even though you've learned a ton and that is going to help you on this journey, there's something else you need to be learning. And this, I kind of got almost like a spiritual vibe out of this, like making sure that you're continuing your spiritual journey and your spiritual learning as you try and move through things with your life. We also got the Ascension card, and I was like, holy cow. So you are building up towards something. And if you are on your spiritual awakening, this is you working towards a major spiritual ascension. Or if you're doing something in the material world, like moving towards a leadership role, working towards an executive position, this is that ascension. So ascension in this case represents your spiritual and your material ascension in terms of your soul and in terms of who you are in your own life and in other people's lives. This is huge. It came out with the soul family card. So your spiritual ascension is tied to your soul family. So make sure that you're very connected with your soul family. You know who they are and what's going on. We're running out of time, so I'm going to start talking really fast. Your numbers are 8s. We got 3 8s in this reading. So look for those 8s. 8, 8, 8. You also got 1, 1. I am intuitive. You got 6. I am nurturing. And you got 222, I am balanced, and your signals and symbols are the cross, the star, and a man. I think this is related to the asking for help and asking for resources. This is my only account. Don't fall for scammers. Virgo, get that strength channeled and get yourself unstuck right now from Spirit.